Netflix has released an animated adaptation of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, but this time in current modern day fashion, they have completely disrespected the source material and namely the main character, in this case being a white male, because, that's not good to have in current day, apparently. Now, if you don't want any spoilers for this Netflix show and you are planning on watching it while you drink your soy milk, you probably want to close out of this video. But if you are still here, I'm going to assume you are fine with this spoiler trash fire of a mess. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So I learned this from Twitter. I'm just scrolling and I see this right here. You just see Scott Pilgrim takes off. That's what it's called. I mean, the title should have been some sort of indication here, but for some reason, typically it's Scott Pilgrim versus the World, but this time Scott Pilgrim takes off. And when I saw the trailer for this during that Netflix drop thing, I was like, hey, wow, this actually looks pretty good. The art style, very in line with what we've seen in the comic. I was actually interested in it, but then now I have completely lost all ounce of interest that I have, because this is what Vex Electronica says. Fans of the Scott Pilgrim books and 2010 film, then skip Netflix's modern adaptation, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. Scott gets killed off in the first episode, and it becomes a reimagining with Ramona facing off against her exes. Don't recommend. 2 out of 10. I think the 2 out of 10 is pretty gracious. This is extremely par for the course with what we have been seeing with modern day properties. And of course, with it being tied to Netflix as well, because as we know, Netflix is a huge proponent of the modern day treatment in their properties. Another reason why I have no actual reason to be excited about the Netflix Tomb Raider adaptation either. And some people still have hope for that mess, despite actually seeing what Lara Croft looks like, which you can see. I made a video about that recently. Here we have this tweet. Someone goes, doesn't that just mean Ramona is the protagonist? I don't feel like this is that crazy of a concept. Okay. I don't know how you don't think that's a crazy concept, but anyway, so then here we have the reply up here that says, it is Scott Pilgrim versus the World, not Ramona Flowers versus her past. And in this case, they changed it to Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, which, yeah. But anyway, you're taking a Scott Pilgrim versus the World property. Can't have a guy coming to the rescue with a girl anymore. And as you can see here, this is clearly a woman who's making this tweet and who is upset and bummed about this. There is this false misconception that women don't like stories of men saving the day. Women quite like those kind of stories, and women even quite like damsel in distress stories when appropriate. Obviously, I wouldn't want that kind of story with Lara Croft. I'm sorry, I have to do my daily Lara Croft pointing out. I wouldn't want that, because she just wasn't established as that kind of character, and a love type story or anything like that isn't just Tomb Raider. That said, I love a guy saves the day for his woman type story, or whether that's already his woman or that's how he wins her over, something like that. There's just something incredibly romantic about that. Women love it. I don't want to hear it. Who doesn't like it? Wildebeest, all right? Maybe those blue-haired, nose ring, the pig-looking one. Wildebeest, 400-pound. They might not like it. But even then, I bet they would. But they just can't picture themselves in that kind of scenario because they are too insufferable for a man to want to have to go to those measures. And hey, that's at some point it's your own fault. Instead of just being bitter and mad at the world and mad at men, maybe check yourself and see why you aren't very pleasant and why men don't want to be treating you in a more chivalrous fashion. Why they don't want to beat up and kill all your exes. I mean, come on. In Minecraft. All right, let's see what some of the comments have to say here. We have Words of Paradise here says, well, at least now I have my video done for tomorrow. Thanks, Vex. That's exactly what I felt when I saw this. I was like, okay, I'm going to have a Saturday upload because usually I don't upload here on Saturdays, but that also makes up for the fact that I didn't upload on Wednesday. So, okay. Allie here says, why is it even called Scott Pilgrim in the first place? And then Vex replies and says, because much like everything else these days, Netflix knew it would hook in hardcore fans by slapping the name on it. Exactly. So perfectly put. Because if they were just to call this, and what they could have called it is like Ramona Flowers alternate universe or something, right? Or the dream of Ramona Flowers, where this is the nightmare of Ramona Flowers, where instead of Scott Pilgrim, you know, framing this as like, oh, this is a nightmare that Ramona Flowers has, okay? And an actual dreamland instead of it being, I would say, a real life, animated real life. There's different angles, but they knew they needed Scott Pilgrim's name to get people to watch. And if you need somebody's name in the title to draw people and get them to watch, then chances are you don't need to disrespect that character. Think of like He-Man, for example, and among many others, right? So that just shows it's very deliberate. It's very deliberate, and it's disrespectful, not only to the property, but to the fans as well. And one thing we're seeing time and time again is you cannot disrespect the fans if you want to see success. And you see all kinds of properties that are respecting the fans, and look how well that goes for them. Look at Top Gun Maverick. Look at Five Nights at Freddy's, a huge example. So if you're going to work on something that has a fan base, make the fans happy, and the money will flow. All right? And so we have another reply here. So they're committed on losing their fan base. Yep. I'm sorry, what? For the rest of the series, does he like video game resurrect eventually, or do they kill him like He-Man? No, why? I mean, this is terribly disappointing. Thanks for saving me the time. See, I was going to watch it. I actually was going to watch it. I think that the 2010 film is decent. I don't think it was perfect, but I thought it was decent. I enjoyed it. And I really, 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 really liked the video game, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Fantastic. If you haven't played that, and especially if you've got like a couch co-op partner to play it with, do that. I played that with my brother and had some of the most fun times on a co-op game in that game. It's legit really, really good. So yeah, save your energy. Save your energy, or don't. You can do what you want. That's fine. So, you know, once again, Netflix continues to disappoint. And I see this being a pattern with the new stuff that they're coming out with. You know, I want to be excited for the animated Devil May Cry series that they're working on. But given just who's working on it and Netflix being behind it, yeah, I really don't think that I can get myself in that place. They'll probably find some way to disrespect Dante and just ruin everything. So this is just, unfortunately, where we are at. And like I said, if you want to see my video talking about what they're doing with Tomb Raider right now, and my opinions on that, which are not good, I just recently made an upload there here on this channel as well. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you all have a wonderful Saturday if you're watching this as the day I upload it. You can also check me out on my gaming streams at Melanie Mac here on YouTube, or just search Melanie Mac Gaming Streams. I've been playing Lies of P, and I do really want to stream that Alex Jones game, so stay tuned. And then, of course, if you want me to read the Bible to you, check out my channel, Bible Time with Melanie Mac, where I read the Bible every single day. And of course, I encourage you to read the Bible yourselves, even if you don't want to watch my channel. So thank you all so much again for hanging out with me. I will catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.